Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip,
And I'm CJ.
and it is Friday in the Riv, and another glorious day. It was a weird weather morning this morning, raining in some places, windy as
Yeah, I went out. I went out because I had to run to the pharmacy and the coffee shop. And as I was pulling out of my driveway, it was raining on me. I went down half a block. It stopped raining. The sun was shining. I went down two more blocks, got to Rodman Street. It was raining on me. Went down Plymouth Avenue. Same thing, raining on me. Got to the pharmacy. No rain. I was like, make
I
up
know,
your
yeah,
mind.
it's really a weird one. This morning I took Abby out in the backyard, and I was out there for about 2 seconds, and then the wind came up, blew all the chairs on my patio over in the driving rain. Then I took her up to BCC to put her under the awning a little bit, and it was like raining in half the parking lot at McDonald's, and the other half it wasn't raining, and I'd go a block and be raining. Kind of weird, but we've got some news, I guess. First of all, that scumbag who killed Lake and Riley was found guilty,
Yes.
sentenced to life without parole. He should have got the death penalty. One of that Soros backed DA was the one who would not seek the death penalty. They actually should have tortured him to death, but then that's only my opinion, so I'm entitled to that. I would have tortured him for about 6 months before. Hopefully, somebody in jail will bludgeon him to death. We can only hope that'll happen. So, call me no good, but I don't care. I believe in rectitude. See, people talk about justice, and justice is about due process. And if they put the wrong address on a search warrant, the guy beats the case. A guy murdered 20-some people in McDonald's years ago, and he got off after he killed like 28 people in the McDonald's in California. I think you remember that case.
Yes, I do. I remember we talked about
And
it.
he got off because they failed to Mirandize him properly.
Yeah.
So here's somebody murdered 28 people. See, I believe in the old Japanese code of Bushido where they said it was rectitude, which is a form of justice, but it's justice that you get what you deserve. So if you need your head chopped off, you get your head chopped off. So that's the key. Hammurabi's code. You do to them, you get that. So that scumbag got elected, got convicted. And the other thing is Matt Gaetz withdrew from his trying to become the attorney general, and the former AG of Florida, Pam Bondi, has been put forward by Trump, and he sent something to X, I guess, saying that he was, they were making too much of a big deal. It's going to be a difficult enough transition. He doesn't want to screw it up. So,
But
good for him. I would have liked to see him in front of there.
the thing is that MAGA people, Trump supporters, were upset because he was cutting deals with the rhinos in the House and the Senate to get Gates appointed, to get him confirmed. And that just wasn't going over people very well. And they felt that he was turning back on his promises, and they wanted what he promised.
Yeah. Well, number one, I guess it's your philosophy. My philosophy is you should get rid of the rhinos. All those people should be gone. Yeah. Let's hope you're right, Patrick. No, she is. She's got 18 years as a prosecutor. She was AG in Florida for 8 years. She's got a sterling record. She's tough. They're going to give her a hard time because she represented Trump during his impeachment trial.
Right.
So they're going to, the demos, the Democrats, the dumb tods are going to just give her on general principles because they love to manufacture stuff. One of our regular fans sent me a really good one. I got to read this one to you because he made a very good point. I got this morning actually. Trump, the woman hater. Select woman chief of staff, first ever. Woman director of national intelligence, first ever. Woman head of Homeland Security, first ever. A woman press secretary, woman attorney general, and a woman ambassador to the UN. The worst misogynist ever. He's right. We finally got somebody that beat us. They called us misogynists, remember? So here's another guy that was branded as a misogynist. I mean, it just goes to show how they're all like Coogan. They are pathological prevaricators. They just don't know how to tell the truth. They just distort everything. And they called him a messiah, and he doesn't like intelligent women. Now, there's an entire list of brilliant women. But, this is the problem we're going to have because they're going to resist. I just hope that he does it. Oh, God. Well, consider that a victory. If something you don't even want to be cut. It's good. You don't want people like that to talk to you. Do you really want people like that? You really want to talk to people like that? Half the time they're lying to you. They're disingenuous. And they get hysterical. They can't debate anything on the issues. They can't be logical. It's always, their hair's on fire. You're a racist. You're this. You're that. No, you tell them that the moon is actually it's actually made of substance. It's not made of green cheese. And, their head flies off and they go into these rants. And they accuse everybody of everything while they're destroying the world. I mean, you got Raimondo, that beaut. She said she's going to spend all the money just to make it hard on Trump. She's going to spend all the money in her department. There's not going to be a dime left. That makes a lot of sense for the American public, doesn't it? Shows what kind of people they are. They're vindictive shitheads. Sorry, that's what they are. And they lie about everything. Joe should have stayed in the Amazon. He was wandering off into the Amazon, but they found him and they wheeled him back in. And he won't answer questions now. He got a Celtic jersey, so I'm never going to watch the Celtics again. That's it. It's one of the few Boston teams I used to like, and I used to like them because Auerbach used to want to make championship teams. But they gave him a Celtic jersey with a 46 on it. That's it. I'm all done rooting for the Celtics. I won't root for the Celtics anymore. So that almost makes me a Democrat. But I never was.
Oh, yeah, no question about it, Linda. No question about it.
No, you're right. I mean, you also got to attribute that to that little criminal thug that they got running that country. Everybody forgets. Isn't it amazing the way the Democrats get political amnesia? They forgot before they got in. They were investigating corruption. Ukraine was considered the most corrupt country in Europe. This guy is corrupt as hell. They can't account for billions of dollars. He's using it to fund Social Security and retirement funds, not for military aid. And now they want to give him another $270 million. And now he's firing missiles into Russia to provoke World War III. So another duplicitous guy. Yeah. Announces enough. Yeah. And yeah, they don't have any idea where it went because there's no accountability. But he's firing these rockets in after he went on record as saying, Trump gets in, the war's going to end. He doesn't want the war to end. He doesn't want the money to dry up. What Trump should have done as soon as he fired that first missile into Russia, he should have said, fire one more, you're getting nothing. Zero. You shouldn't get anything anyway. We should not be giving every other country money while we have people in the United States living in the streets, veterans with no housing, people with mental issues laying in the streets. People can't afford their rent. But the elitists don't care. Everybody can't buy a castle in England and move over there. But yeah, this is the problem. Well, good. I think Tom Homan will send her a Christmas card for doing that, Linda. You might send her a thanks a lot, because they're coming. They're coming. And, the Democrats they boggle your mind with their lunacy. I mean, they just can't even ever keep anything in context by looking at the perspective. They had a Democratic congresswoman saying they're going to deport doctors. Well, if they're illegal, they shouldn't be in the country. They should be done. But what did they say a million times? Let's be realistic. Stop lying. They said they're going to focus on the 13,000 murderers, the 15,000 rapists, and all the other criminals that were released back into society. There were 22,000 just released that had criminal charges. They released them back into America. These people they want to destroy this country because in their little elitist enclaves, they don't suffer this. They're rich enough to hire their own security. I mean, it's what they're doing is it's just shows how much total disregard they have for the average American, and that's why the election turned out the way it was. Did you see that video that was posted? I tried to send it to a few people, but I think it was too long. It opened up with Tim Waltz waving his arm saying, but you know what I really hate about these people? They took away our joy. Remember their joy?
Yeah.
Joy thing. And then the rest of the video was all the joy that Trump has brought. It showed football players, basketball players, everybody doing the Trump dance, to the tune of YMCA. Yeah, exactly. But, this is counterproductive to the country. Let's look at this objectively. What they're doing is hurting. It shows how little they care about the people. They're making it more difficult for an incoming president to do his job.
Well, that's their joy.
Yeah,
that's their joy.
Yeah. And when I see things like this, the only thing that irritates me more is, it's the Christmas season, and the Christmas season means that I have to shut off. I make sure I tape everything so I can fast forward, because those commercials for the SPCA, they're really disturbing to me.
Yes, they are. Yes,
they are. How much an animal lover I am, and they're disturbing. And I saw a brief one the other. I had to turn it off. I'll tell you, it was unbelievable. They showed these poor dogs. One little puppy, all he was bones, starving to death with an empty bowl in his mouth, basically begging for food. How humans can do this, what Gandhi said, a society can be judged by the way it treats its animals and its weakest. And as much as I hate Democrats, people have the ability to help themselves and go out there and do something about it. Animals don't. They're lucky that they don't let me run it, because if I had my choice, I I would do exactly that to them. I would apply Hammurabi's code. I would tie them up to a post and starve them to death. And every day I'd walk in there and have 3 giant meals in front of them.
You know, the sad part about
they deserve to die. That's what they do. People who treat helpless animals that way, and they just made another arrest. I saw it on TV. I won't watch the stuff because they'll show it. They just made another arrest in New Bedford.
Yes.
Found a bunch of animals in deplorable conditions. How people can do this to helpless animals shows that humans are the most disgusting species on earth. You know why? Because humans are the only ones that kill for pleasure, kill for money, kill for revenge. Every other animal in this world only kills for survival. So they disgust me. They absolutely disgust me. And people like that, because they're animals, they don't have the same penalties. They should get the same penalties. They should get a greater penalty for doing something like that. It's like taking advantage of a person with that has a mental disability. You know, it would be like doing that to someone who is in the spectrum, taking advantage of somebody. These animals and people like this, to abuse them is beyond human comprehension. And we're going into the silly season where all these people that do this to animals and people will say, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, blah, blah, blah. You phony son of a... Yeah, go ahead.
And you know, Christmas is the worst time of year for animals because everybody runs out and buys a pet. They buy a dog, they buy a cat, they buy a hamster, they buy a gerbil, they buy a guinea pig, they buy a rabbit. And then after 3 or 4 months, they say, oh, it's too much work. I got to get rid of them.
Yep.
Those animals bind to you. And when you just throw them aside, they feel it. They hurt.
Mm.
And the worst part about it is that if you at least give them to an animal shelter and do it humanely, then you're fine. But when you just starve them, let them be hungry, or worse, open your door and let them out wandering, you're scum.
Yeah, they're beyond scum. I mean, yeah. And that's the problem. And even today, people who actually want a pet, you know, they find now they're having difficulty keeping pets, even people who want to keep them because of the economy.
Right.
Costs a lot of money for vet care today. If you want to take care of your animal, it's difficult now.
And pet food isn't cheap either.
Pet food isn't cheap. That's right. It's expensive to have a pet. I'm very fortunate that I finally learned my lesson after having dogs my virtually entire adult life. Finally got pet insurance. It's worth the money, especially if you want to take care of your pet and they have a real major thing on it. But that's right. They have unconditional love. And to see them abuse, that's why it really, and those things are run on every single show you got SPCA and that stuff running. And as much as I love animals and I help them as much as I can, but it just disturbs me to see that. I don't need to be reminded of that. I love animals enough to give you some money without showing me that, because it only infuriates me. You know, if I had my way, I'd track these people down. And like I said, I'd starve them to death. I'd give them exactly what they gave these poor, helpless animals. Because
what infuriates me more is that they're raising this money, okay? And a lot of that money is going to their chief executive officer, their board of directors members. They're making more money on the deal, and it's not going to the animals. As with a lot of charities.
Yeah, yeah. Red Cross too.
Right. And I'm sorry, I won't donate to these organizations that are giving the money to the CEO or whoever else it may be.
Well, I know one thing. Public service announcement. Wait a minute. What do we got here? Yeah, you're right, Linda. That's very true, and we know that as pet owners. But I have I have gotten pets from breeders because I like particular breeds, but I've also rescued, you know, uh, quite a few during my lifetime that were. But you also have to know pets. You also have to know. CJ, I got to take this. This is about a medical thing. Mute me.
Linda, you were right. It is a public service announcement that you gave, and that happens. You know, Parents think, well, my son or daughter wants a little dog or a little cat, and guess what? They can't take care of it. Taking a dog or a cat or any animal at all is a lifetime commitment. Okay? That dog's life may be 10, 15, 20 years, but that's their lifetime. And it's hard. It's hard. I've had Cocker Spaniels almost my entire life. And I had one that died of liver failure, which is very painful. I had to put him down. And I cried like a big baby. And that's what we do. That's what we do. And remember that. Hey, I got to get into something else now. I've received several complaints about the fact that we haven't been focusing a lot on Fall River issues, which is true. We haven't been focusing a lot of Fall River issues since the election, since just before the election. But also, it's been very quiet. The mayor hasn't said or done anything. And it doesn't seem like he'll be doing or saying anything until the holidays. And I mean, I'm following all the news outlets to see if there's anything. I mean, the only thing that really got me was that yesterday they finally brought to court the guy who was responsible for the Griffin Park shootings. And they finally brought him to court. They got him after a year being on the run. It's difficult. It's difficult when there's not and it's not that there's not a lot going on. There is a lot going on. It's just that there's not a lot of reporting on what's going on. And that's where the situation occurs. And we're trying to get those stories. So if you have those stories, send them to us, please. We'll follow up on them. Yeah. We'll make sure that your news gets out there. I mean, for instance, I received a phone call last night because the Zoning Board of Appeals was meeting. And Meesham Street, which is behind the shopping plaza, they were trying to make that, and that's a single-family home district. It's all single-family homes. And a developer wants to put 6 duplexes there. And the abutters, all the people that live in that neighborhood, said that would be a safety issue. And it would detract from their property and their property values. Now, I don't know what happened yesterday at the ZBA, but I'll tell you now, it wouldn't surprise me, and I told the person who called me earlier on it, it wouldn't surprise me if the ZBA approves it because of the attorney that's representing the developer. Because if you look at the attorneys that represent these developers, it's always the same people that get the yes votes. It's always the same people that get the yes votes. And yep, and I still believe somebody's getting payoffs.
Yeah, well, I'm back. I apologize. It was a medical test that they had to do some research on to see. So, but I had to answer that call. I don't really like to do it, but talking about information, it was funny because I think anybody who's been keeping up knows that both Mayorkas, the other scumbag that's let all these criminals through the border, and the FBI director, Ray, would not, they didn't show up to testify in front of Congress. And they said, they said that, they've testified before and blah, blah, blah. They don't want to go up because they know what's happening here. The Congress wanted to know what's going on between the threat of World War III, what's going on at the border. It seems as though they're making the border more porous now. They let more people get in, make it difficult. They're even coming up with a new app to let them come in without even stopping to deal with ICE. So they're doing, the Democrats are doing everything they can to wreck this country and make it worse for the incoming president and the people of the country. But I thought it was very interesting that even a few Democrats were not happy that they didn't show up. And the speaker did say something that I think was really, really accurate. When he was interviewed, he said, listen, the American people deserve to hear answers to these questions. And I don't care if they say, well, it should have been in a executive session. He said, listen, you can come in and give us general answers. And if there are certain specifics that you can't release, well, we can go into a private session. But the American people at least deserve to know that you're going to do something and generally what you're doing. Obviously, if you want to talk about, are we going to prepare for war? Yeah, well, you got to know fundamentally that we're beginning to make preparations. You don't have to give them the battle plans, but this is the problem. They're just going to duck everything because they're out. They know they're both out. Mayorkas is gone. Ray's gone. They're all gone. So they're just gonna dump as much problem on the American people that we're gonna have to pay for as taxpayers and suffer the consequences of crime as they can. This is why they got bounced out, and this is why they're probably gonna stay out. Because they have no consideration for the average American. They don't. They're elitists. They only have two kinds of people. People who are looking for handouts and rich people that
won't give the handouts.
That won't give them the handouts. They'll let the taxpayers give the handouts, and they'll go live in their little rich communities that won't have this. Like Martha's Vineyard. Remember, we love illegals. We love aliens. Bring them to the United States. Oh, wait a minute. Illegal alert. Illegal alert. Yep, get the National Guard. Get it. Get them out of here. Not in my backyard. Oh, we love you, but not in our yard unless you cut my grass. You can come back in on a bus and cut my grass and then beat it. That's their world. You can be the maid. You can be the butler. You can be the lawn service. But as soon as you're done work, get out of town. We don't want you here. And this is why this party is going to be in big trouble in everywhere except, places where we have people who are seriously delusionary, like Massachusetts. Although, who knows? I mean, it may get bad enough where Massachusetts wakes up. I mean, what did he get? 40% of the vote statewide? He took Bristol County. Trump took Bristol County overall. Took Fall River. Maybe people are finally waking up. Maybe they realize these people are doing nothing for them. Michelle Wu's not doing nothing for the average person in Boston by keeping illegal criminals in this shit, fighting against the law, which, like I said, I just hope that Trump locks them all up. Holman has already cited the federal law. It's a felony to harbor a fugitive, an illegal alien. And if I was him, while they were locking up the illegals, I'd send them to the State House to lock up the governor and lock up Wu. That great woke champion who had a Christmas party that whites weren't allowed to go to. Everybody forget that? Remember the big to-do they had? Oh, she had her own Christmas party. But white people were excluded. Well, that's not racist, right? No, it's not. Just like New York City. They're prosecuting a Marine who unfortunately killed he killed a guy, but he was trying to restrain him, who had threatened to kill somebody. The guy had serious mental issues, had a criminal record 9 miles long, but Alvin Bragg is going to take him to court and prosecute him while he lets felons out all the time. Why? Oh, because they got enraged. He was a black man. I can guarantee you one thing. If that was a white man that got choked out by a black man, Alvin Bragg would be giving him the Medal of Valor for protecting it. Because every single person on that subway testified for the fact that they were in fear for their life. This guy was running around saying, I'm going to kill somebody right now. Because I don't care if I go to jail for the rest of my life. And there was a woman with a baby there who was petrified, and they all went there. But you're right, Liz. She is as racist as they come. And this is the irony. They project that on everybody else. But they're the most racist people in the world because they classify everybody by what ethnic group they're in or what color they are. That's the Democrats, not the Republicans. You look at the Democrats, that's it. Everything is like, oh, even their campaign, they had a separate focus. What did Trump do? Let's look at that. There's your example. Trump went to the black barbershops. He went to the Latino areas, talked to them as Americans. Said, we're all Americans. We got to fix this country. What did Kamala do? White dudes for Kamala. Oh, there's a category. Black dudes for Kamala. Transvestites for Kamala. Everybody's got to be put in their little pigeonhole. But they're not racist. They're not racist. The guy who they called a racist went everywhere in this country, even places where he wasn't welcome. And that's why he began to change all these places, even places he lost. Yeah, that's right. Well, no, Linda. They don't think, they think everybody's privileged. That's what, and that's the generalizations they use to justify their position. They generalize. All white people are privileged. Oh, and that other congressman was screaming about, you don't tell me that. Did you ever get dragged out of your house? Yeah. What the hell was his name? The guy that they put in shackles and walked out of his house that was in a Trump organization. They actually did it to a couple of them, but I already forgot his name. Oh God, he just got released from jail. So it slipped my mind. Patrick, help us here. They walked him out of his house in shackles. He was a government official. And he was white. It's the Democratic Party that's the racist party. Look what Rashida Tlaib. She's anti-everybody except Muslims. They're the party of division. Donald Trump has created a Republican Party as the party of the people. Doesn't matter who you are. And his record showed it in his first term. He had the most aggressive initiative for black businesses in the history of this country.
You wouldn't have been talking about Steve Bannon, would you?
No, yeah, they locked up Bannon. I don't know if he came out in shackles. It was the other guy, the thin guy. what the hell was his name? Jeez, can't think of his name. He just got released from jail not that long ago. He just got out of jail, but they locked him out in shackles. And you know, but you look at this and you think about all these things that they do. Yeah, right. Well, listen, look, the Democratic Party were pro-slavery, anti-integration of the schools. They had the longest reigning, one of their longest reigning senators was a grand wizard in the Ku Klux Klan. I mean, yeah, the Democrats are really the party of everybody. You know, I mean, they're so full of crap, it's incredible. And you know, and what they do is manipulate, lie, and tell half truths about everything. But just look at the record. Look at this election. Trump won places in Texas that in history had never voted Republican, and he won them by 75%. And people are they're all upset. And so what did the Democrats do? What was their response to that? They called them names. They don't have the right to vote for somebody that they think might help their lot in life because they live on a border. You're a misogynist. You're a racist. You're a fascist. You're stupid. You're dumb. You have to be uneducated. How could a Latino vote for Donald Trump? Maybe because there's 10,000 illegals in his yard? I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. He's got 1 million. They got people overrunning their properties, leaving junk all over the place. Sometimes bodies. And they had the audacity to vote for Donald Trump. Oh my God. What's wrong with those people? You've got people, you don't understand. You got to listen to Oprah. She didn't get $1 million. No, her company did. Another lie, half truth. I didn't make a penny. Yes, you did. Your company made it. You made it. They lie. You know, what's it? And Kamala burned through $2 billion, not $1 billion, but $2 billion. And they're in a hole $20 million. Doing what? Paying Oprah $1 million, paying Beyonce, paying all these rich people to get rich. These rich people, they're so phony. If they really cared about the regular people and they really believed in Kamala that much, they would have done it for free. They would have given concerts for in-kind contributions. But they're greedy. The rich get richer and screw the people. So that's what they do. Yep. And that's exactly what they do. But, you know, we should know better. It's the people. I'm glad to see the people in this country finally woke up, and hopefully they'll stay awake. They won't go to sleep again. Every once in a while, things get a little bit better, and they go to sleep again. I hope they stay awake, because there's an old saying, a lot older than we are, before our time: united we stand, divided we fall. Everybody knows that. Divide and conquer. There's a military strategy too. We all know that. The Democrats, you got to give them credit where credit is due. They are experts at dividing and conquering. Felon, yeah, they were misdemeanors till Trump got convicted. They made it felonies, yeah.
Yeah, well, I remember the comment from Trump when he turned around and said the shackles are now off.
Yeah,
and he was right. You know, I mean, the Democratic Party and the political leadership were trying to make him look bad for his presidential campaign, and all that did was bolster his credibility with the people. That's all they did.
No,
and let me tell you something.
Right. She's right. Listen, there are more procedural errors in that trial. And I'm not claiming to be an expert in law, but I watched tens of experts Guys like Dershowitz, Turley, these guys are brilliant, brilliant scholars and attorneys, saying that judge made so many reversible errors, it's pathetic. None of this stuff will ever hold up. All they wanted to do was have those felony charges for the election, and it backfired. Because everybody knows it was bullshit. They took misdemeanor cases, the statute of, they threw everything out the window. He allowed stuff in that shouldn't have been in. I mean, the guy was just a political hack. And what are they doing now? They're rushing to put as many liberal judges in place as they can. That's right. Yeah, no, yeah, but he was a little. They were after him too, because they really hate him. I got to give him credit. He pissed them off even when we pissed off BCC. So I got to give him credit where credit. You got to give credit where credit is due.
This is true.
He's got these people. I mean, they literally hate him.
Yep.
They literally hate this guy. There are people that, because he has a different view, they want him dead. There are people that
they tried.
And they tried. And they may try. And they may try again.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the key. It's like, look, I don't like Biden, but frankly, I wouldn't waste my time. He's gone. We got our wish. We had to suffer him for 4 years. We suffered in silence. The independents and people who were watching him destroy the country. We were aggravated. We ranted. We raved. We said our piece, and we called them out. But we didn't say, well, they should assassinate him. They should. We called him stupid. Well, you see, that was probably. Then we found out that he really wasn't stupid. He's just impaired. So he doesn't know what day it is. But the fact is, he was a buffoon. We have to suffer him. And now, well, the rich elitists will actually have to suffer a president who is going to try to help the people of this country. What a travesty that's going to be.
Exactly. Well, I want to thank you all for watching. And remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. It's going to rain a little bit this weekend, so be sure to take out your raincoat and your umbrella. Be looking for the weekend flush on Sunday at 6. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye. We'll see you on Monday.
Woo!